master's student for global politics and law. Thank you for joining me, Natalia.
Thank you for having me, Alveena. It's nice to see you here.
So, Natalia, let's introduce our topic for today, which we've bought for our viewers. The topic is about BRI and its perceptions, contemporary perceptions in the world. So, we're starting it with Europe because, as we all know, that China, being a rising power in these all 10 years, next 10 years or current 10 years, we can say, China is facing tension from great powers like the US, Japan, and other great powers. So, currently looking at the scenario and the perceptions of Europe, what would you like to tell us? What Europe is currently perceiving about Belt and Road Initiative, and what are the different perceptions which you can tell us about Europe, which they particularly see regarding BRI?
Of course. So I think to give you like my perception, it would be best to first give a little bit background about the BRI initiative in Poland. So Poland was actually one of the first European Union countries that engaged in this Belt and Road initiative in 2013, so in the year when it's officially started. And then the first railway connection between Polish city Łódź and the Chinese city Chengdu was officially opened. So that was a very important step. And also in the same year, the first container connection was opened between Warsaw and Suzhou in China. So it really helped shorten the transportation time between those two countries. So China actually is currently Poland's largest Asian trading partner. And also later it became like Chinese largest trading partner in Central and Eastern Europe. So this is also like important to see that Poland has ranked, I think it was second, right after Germany since 2014 to 2017, and China accounted for more than 11% of Polish imports. So it's a very important partner. So from the Polish perspective, what like Polish people think about BRI? Definitely the main goal is to expand exports to China, and the BRI should help with that. As I said before, by creating these new routes, new railways. So this is the important thing, because Polish producers face a lot of difficulties with accessing Chinese market, because as you all know, Chinese market is a very unique and also has very strict regulations and bureaucracy that is difficult to get through. So also like Polish side hopes that with the BRI it will be easier for them to maybe invest in China, to sell products in China. And yeah, actually in Poland, China is really interested in supplying like Polish devices that can counteract pollution. So that's a main part. And also some modern technologies and maybe traditional products as well.
Okay, so Natalia, we speak about EU, and when we study deeply about European Union, we've seen that China had been second largest trading partner with EU after US. But why we see so much conflict and so much issues between Europe and China? Because when we talk about two major blocs in global politics, US or China currently. Either people are with US or they are with China. But obviously, US bloc is more stronger comparatively when we speak about Chinese bloc. So on one hand, we see a clear trade, which is with China, and which is definitely strengthening every year. But why so many conflicts? What's your opinion about that?
So, as far as like I see this, the problem, especially in Poland, but it also affects other European countries, is the fact that the United States is very clear about quote unquote taking like sides, picking sides. So, for example, if some country decided to, as I quote, like take Chinese side, so basically let more investments, buy more products, and sign more contracts with China, then the US start to feel threatened by that. And they directly say that, remember, if you want to be our partner, you need to reduce your partnership with China. And this is also the, I think, the main issue that Poland has. Because Poland wants to be in a very close relation with United States, especially current Polish government. So they, if they would have to choose, they would always choose United States over China, and it's also because
Okay.
of the security. So I think it's the other thing that we can see, that China never actually acts if some like country that they're partner with had a problem, but United States do that. So Poland,
Okay.
because it's afraid, yeah. Oh, sorry, we'll cut this.
Yeah, it's okay. You can continue. These all things
Okay,
happen even on live television, so it's okay.
okay,
Yeah.
sorry. So, as I was saying, the security is also the big issue why European countries, and here I speak mostly about Poland, don't engage in closer relations with China, which
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
unfortunate because it could be very beneficial for both sides.
Okay. Natalia, now coming back to the perceptions on BRI, like for instance, when we talk about what basically BRI purpose is, we all know that it's a transcontinental project and different continents are going to be engaged with each other, not just for the trade purpose, but for multiple different purposes. It's all about like people to people contact even. It's about cultural exchange. It's about education. It's about civilization. So it's much more than the trade. So it's all about peace, definitely. But still, a lot of countries are threatened about it, and the reason is very clear, which is US don't want their hegemony to be weakened, or they don't want that any other hegemon come, or they just want the world to be in a unipolar political system, and that's very evident and clear. But now, just reading about different perceptions in the world, I've came across that there are so many negative perceptions about the BRI project, that it's a debt trap project. It's actually going to produce another hegemon in the region, in the world. What's your opinion about it?
I agree with your statement, and I also see a lot of negative perception of BRI. But I also think that this is mainly because people don't understand this initiative correctly, and the government doesn't help because they say what they want people to believe. So I also see that, for example, in Poland, a lot of people are afraid of BRI because they think that if we let Chinese people here in Poland, they will buy like the whole country. They will want to control everything. Yeah, they really they
This is
really think
exactly
that.
literally the same things happen in Pakistan, and I literally always ask people that how can you believe that they will buy the whole Gwadar port? They will come and they will start dictating Pakistan. They will rule our country. They will control our country. And I'm sure you remember a lot of professors also shared their facts with us that how this is impossible, that they cannot control it. But why Polish people believe that this can happen? And then again, I'll also tell, or I'll also share with you that why Pakistani people feel that.
Okay, so Polish people definitely feel that because Polish media often tells us about what, for example, happening in Canada. I'm not sure if you've heard that Chinese people buy a lot of properties in Canada, like houses and even maybe it's of course an exaggeration, but they
Yes,
say Polish sorry, Chinese people buy whole cities. So Poland automatically thinks that, oh
yes,
no, it is happening in Canada, it can happen here. But the other thing that I personally like, I was talking to a company owner that I worked with some time ago, and he is producing electronic machines, and Chinese side was really interested to work with him, and it would be very good for development of this company. But he said he is not going to agree to that. He is not going to work with China because he is afraid that he will show them his product and they will instantly like stole his idea and just recreate it in China for way less. Of course, I tried to tell him that there's also some regulations, law regulations that we can
yeah,
use. But yeah, he just was
yeah.
really strictly saying that they are going to just basically steal his product and he will be at loss later.
Okay. So these are and yes, usually one of the reasons that Polish people are scared of BRI project. They don't believe that this is a transcontinental project which is going to be in the favor of the region. But instead, they more believe into debt trap and Chinese will come and purchase the property. They'll take over. They believe in all of these theories. Natalia, exactly this is what Pakistani people believe. And there are multiple reasons for it. I'll elaborate, I'll try to elaborate few reasons to you. Number one reason is that our GDP had always been in crisis, and unfortunately, we had been under IMF, World Bank, Asian Development, and so many other loans. And every year we have to pay back the installments, and we are actually we are a progressive state, but unfortunately, our economy is not very much strengthened, and we have to work a lot on our economy. And the basic reason is our education is not strong, our health system is not strong, our ministries in health and education needs to invest a lot to have a better Pakistan. So the main purpose or the main area, core area is our people believe that we're already under debt and we have to pay loans to a lot of international monetary funds and different institutions or banks. Then again, we have China with us, who's already investing a lot in Gwadar port. And investing in Gwadar port is like very important for Chinese people. If you see the geography and you see the map, where Gwadar port is actually located, that's the most important strategic location for BRI because it's going to connect the whole region and connect the whole belt. And there's another reason to it as well. Right from the Gwadar port, the access to Indo-Pacific region or this whole area in marine is also very easy for China, which only US had been the access only. So this is something which Pakistanis needs to understand that the place which they have been given by God and the place they live in geostrategically it is very important for BRI. So they don't need to underestimate themselves that they are investing a lot in Gwadar port. Hence, they'll actually snatch it from us. So people often quote the examples of Maldives. They quote examples of Sri Lankan island, and they quote some other examples as well, where Chinese government had been accused of doing a loan diplomacy, but in the result, it was actually a debt trap. So these are few stories which Pakistani current opposition try to manipulate a lot and then try to malign the current government on that.
The other thing I also wanted to add about these concerns that I think it's a really, maybe it's different from a Pakistani point of view right now that I thought of. It's the fact that China is a communist country. So in Poland, if there are any articles, any reports on China, the first thing you can read is China, a communist country. And this word communism is putting uh, actually most of Polish people back because, as you may know, Poland has a problem with communism years ago, and it didn't end well for our country. So Polish people are terrified that if, for example, we may have closer relations with China, we may have a problem with communism again. Of course, as we know, because we study
Okay,
yeah, about Chinese politics, we know that this is not the same communism that was in Soviet Union at the time,
exactly.
that is in Russia, right? But for average person, they don't know the difference. They just see the word communism and they feel it's the same. They are afraid of being oppressed again. So this is also a main concern of just regular people.
Okay, so that was wonderful. Anything else you want to add, Natalia? When we talk about the perceptions, the perception we've already spoken about the positive perceptions as well, and we've also added some negative perceptions too. But anything you want to summarize in the conversation that these are the positive perceptions currently Polish people have for BRI, and these are the negative perceptions.
So I think for the positive perceptions, definitely we see the railway that I was talking about before as a positive thing because it allows us to buy more products from China, and Polish people really like Chinese products. So it's a very positive way. They buy a lot of things from Chinese websites, and they're happy that they arrive quickly. Let's say it's like 2 weeks instead of a month or more it was before. So I think this is a very positive thing that people see. And also I think that a lot of people started to understand the people to people relations and exchange, and then they really start to find it valuable. For example, all the events that are held by Chinese embassy in Warsaw. Of course, now it's on hold because of the pandemic. But before the pandemic, Chinese embassy really held a lot of events that normal people could attend. Mostly, of course, it was students and professors and people connected to China. But it was very popular, and people really appreciated that. And for the negative part, yeah, definitely the perceptions that I told you before. The communism is the number one. Of course, the stealing ideas, as you know, is the it's the U.S. narration also. And the third one, security. I think these are the really main. Of course, politicians may have a different view, but I think those are more universal, and not only politicians think that way, but even regular people that have even a little bit knowledge about China.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think these are the most popular ones.
Okay, thank you so much, Natalia, for joining us. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot of different sessions as well. And in future, we're going to talk more about BRI because we have to explore a lot on BRI. And we're definitely going to talk on different subjects as well. Thank you once again. Bye. Take care.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.